You're watching Better Business Bureau's Business at its Best, brought to you by Ataraxis. You've got employees, we've got solutions, human resources, insurance, benefits, and payroll. Our business is your business. BBB's Business at its Best.
How well known is your company? Dale Dixon here, Better Business Bureau. Welcome to Business at its Best. This half hour is devoted to helping Idaho companies be the best they can be, and our focus today is on advertising, making your company well known. On the show today, we start with the social media do's and don'ts. If you're going to have a presence, it's important you do it right from the start. We show you how. If you're looking for low-cost options to get people in the door, maybe you need to consider street corner advertising. Then we talk to a business owner about the best ways to clean up on the competition with a strong, affordable advertising strategy. Bottom line, we've assembled the experts from agencies to university classrooms to business owners, all to show you new ways to think about advertising. And a big thank you to the TV stations in Idaho making this show possible each week. We're airing on KTVB's very own 24/7 in Twin Falls and Boise, and Local News 8's Now channel in East Idaho. We start the show by tackling the myths of advertising, what it is, what it is not. Jess Flynn is the founder and CEO of Red Sky Public Relations with Idaho roots and a global reach. Jess, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with this idea that so often I will see a business throw up a blog about a sale. They'll send out a tweet about a new product, try to put a Facebook page together that it's meant for personal, but they use a business name. Misuses of social media, and they think they're using it the right way. What are some of the right ways that they're supposed to be using it?
I think the first thing to really think about as a business is, just like you won't launch a business without having a great business plan, or you won't go after a certain market without looking at the strategy, you really need to have a strategy for what you're doing. I think we've all succumbed to that bright, shiny object and really wanting to jump on the latest tool and technique and be there. But you really have to think about, who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to accomplish? And what do you want them to do with the information once they receive it? And when you really think about, if my customer is a business-to-business type of engagement, or if it's a business-to-consumer, people are doing different things on different channels. So you really need to plan out and look at, is Facebook going to be the best place for me, where there's a more personal, consumer-oriented conversation? Or perhaps LinkedIn is, where there's a higher level professional conversation.
Now, you use an important word, conversation, in social media, because you talk about the bright, shiny object. We read an article in the newspaper about how business needs to be engaged in social media, so I'll go out and do it for a short time and then all of a sudden fall off. What are some things that people need to be thinking about when it comes to social media for business?
I think conversation is that most important word. No longer are public relations professionals like myself gatekeepers. We don't keep information from people. We help facilitate conversations. And an advertisement doesn't just go out there and exist on its own on an island. People are talking about it, sharing it, questioning it, passing it along. So you need to think about whatever you're putting out there, even if it's an advertisement that you're paying for to go out for one day, it's going to be shared and conversations are going to occur. And you, as the brand and the organization, need to be listening to what your customers are asking about.
Which is really one of the ways we need to change our thinking and seek a paradigm shift when it comes to advertising. So you're saying advertising definitely has a role in this marketing equation that you're talking about.
Definitely. There is a role for owned, paid, and earned. And if we think about paid as advertising, traditional advertising, digital advertising, where you're paying to have a certain message appear somewhere. And if you're talking about earned with getting journalists to help tell your story, or word of mouth, owned is that other part of the equation that people need to be thinking about, and it all needs to work together. And owned is your own website, your own Facebook page, your own LinkedIn page. And you shouldn't be doing one of these alone in a silo, but all together.
A more comprehensive, coordinated approach is what you're telling us.
Exactly.
All right, great way to start us off today. Jess Flynn, Red Sky Public Relations. Folks want to find you online, the website?
RedSkyPR.com.
All right, thanks so much for being with us today. And coming up next, taking your advertising message to the street. It's more than waving a sign on a corner, though. You're watching Business at its Best, presented by Ataraxis. Welcome back to Business at its Best. Better Business Bureau, serving the Snake River region, helps people buy wisely and companies sell ethically. When you see BBB accredited business, you know a company has promised to uphold BBB's standards for trust. It's advertise honestly, tell the truth, be transparent, be responsive, safeguard privacy, and on her promises. Whether a street corner in Idaho Falls, Pocatello, Twin, or Meridian, you don't need to travel far before seeing someone dressed up waving that sign. Now, the good ones, they grab your attention. The bad, they just might get your sympathy, especially on these cold days. Dr. Konya Weber, Associate Professor and Department Chair at Northwest Nazarene University, joins us. Thanks so much for being with us today. So we're talking about this idea of street corner advertising. Why has it gained so much popularity in recent years? Because the question's there, is it really working?
Absolutely. The idea behind it is that what we need to do as marketers, we need to attract your attention as a consumer, get you into the door, because most people are actually impulse shoppers. And what a lot of businesses using this particular technique are finding that they can get people into the door, in their door, and then once they get them there, they can sell them their products.
So it is working.
Yes.
Off the impulse.
Yes, and that's what it's supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So, and the thing that you have to remember is, generally speaking, it's a fairly inexpensive way to advertise, and allows people to stretch their advertising budget, especially a lot of small businesses are obviously wanting to, again, increase that.
So then, is it an effective way to spend those marketing dollars for that small business that's looking at the budget and say, okay, do I hire somebody at minimum wage to stay on the street corner? I hear you saying it could be the effective way.
It could be. It depends on your expectations, what you expect to accomplish. What it's really good at is increasing customers into your door. It's good at building your brand or increasing your visibility. So maybe if you're a small business and you're maybe not on that main street, one street back, it allows that person with the sign to wave and point the customer into your direction. However, it doesn't necessarily be effective at immediately increasing sales. However, if you get the customer into the door and you have good product selection, good customer service, well-priced items, then absolutely will increase sales.
Then it's up to you to capture the sale once
Absolutely.
They're in the door. So you brought a checklist for us. What are some of the things that a business needs to be aware of as they go down this road of looking at street corner advertising?
Well, one thing that we need to know, every advertising technique needs to be implemented well. Okay. So as we hear in retail, location, location, location. Is that person located at a intersection, a busy intersection, or appropriate intersection? Also, the sign, is it easy to read? Can you execute it well? It has to look professional, it has to reflect what you want it to be seen as your brand.
Meaning it's not scribbled on, it's not a piece of board, but...
Exactly.
And then I'm also noticing more and more that people are spending some time dressing up the person holding the sign.
Yes. Actually, you mentioned something about hiring someone. There's actually professionals. There's training courses in how to spin the sign, and they say that if you have a trained person, it's more effective. So it's up to small businesses to decide on how much money to spend. Absolutely.
These folks can be trained in how to do it the right way.
Well, you don't want it to be distracting or unprofessional. So that's a concern for small businesses.
So it needs to be executed well, meaning the person has to be doing the right job with the professional design and a level of experience. And some people are going to say, experience, really, holding a sign? But there are those that capture your attention and those that you feel sorry for.
Absolutely.
And then ordinances.
Yes. One thing you have to be careful of, you have to be careful of what the city has, any stipulations, so do your homework.
Okay. So you just can't throw a sign in somebody's hand, throw them on the nearest street corner with high traffic and say, get them in my door.
No,
okay.
That would probably be not advisable.
Not a good idea at this point. All right, so find your location, work it well, be sure you're executing well with a professional design, that you have the right people doing this, that are representing your business well, and do check with ordinances before you head down this road to your nearest street corner.
Absolutely.
Dr. Konya Weber, NNU, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Bringing those tips on street corner advertising. And coming up next on Business at its Best, experience speaks from spending more than $100,000 on advertising to redesigning his approach. One business owner shares his approach to advertising. You're watching Business at its Best, presented by Ataraxis. Ataraxis makes this program possible each week. The company takes care of the day-to-day work of HR, benefits, and payroll so a business owner can focus on growing the business. And we're spending this half hour talking about effective advertising for business. If you've been watching since the beginning, you might be rethinking your approach to getting your message to the masses. Wright redesigned his entire business, and he actually wrote the book, Redesign. The owner of UltraClean Pro joins us. Brandon, thanks so much for being with us today. The book's out recently, and you talk about this process of really going through your business. We're going to focus on just the advertising aspect. So before you did the redesign, what was your approach to advertising? Because you spent 150 a year, 150,000 a year on it, right?
Yeah, I wish I could have that money back because that money's gone. It didn't work, and so, but that's how I learned. I learned from like the lessons that I failed at, and you know, as a carpet cleaning company, I thought coupons the way to go. That's what I originally started. It got me business, but it didn't get me the type of business that wanted to use me the next time. They wanted that second deal. We've tried Yellow Pages, we've tried radio, we've tried print, we've tried TV, and we've spent lots of money on it to get the name out there. But then getting the name out there doesn't make people buy.
So then you've gone through this process, you wrote the book about it. How have things changed for you on the advertising front? What have you changed?
Well, I realized that I need to personalize it. I need to reach out to that individual. They have to understand what it is that I do. They need to remember my name. And then when the time comes and they need my service, I need to be the one that they think of. And so when I personalize something, I want to make sure that my name will stick in there. When we go do a service for somebody, leave a refrigerator magnet on their refrigerator door. That's huge. Billboards. I don't do billboards, but my van is a billboard. That goes on my car wherever I go. And so we've taken a different approach to getting our name out there and being recognized.
And you also are engaged in a number of events that facilitate more face-to-face interaction, and you consider that to be an advertising marketing approach as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best things that I like to talk about is we'll go out skeet shooting. We'll take some shotguns, go out and shoot some pigeons. Some people that may have never shot before, people that are fearful of guns, we'll go out, we'll give them an experience. And we can always talk about that years later, that experience that I gave them. That's something that you can't get anywhere else.
An advertisement's not going to do that for you.
Exactly.
So what you're saying, though, is through this redesign process, you have refocused your energies from more of the standard, we'll call it old school type of advertising, into more relationship building opportunities. How do you break through the noise, though? How do you keep that UltraClean Pro name in front of folks and break through the clutter of so many invitations to events, so many, you name it, there's a lot of distractions out there?
Well, use email blasts as an example. Not many people are opening up email blasts. That's a thing of the past. It's not working. I will spend the time to individually personalize an email to an individual and tailor that message to them. Okay. And so I will spend my time writing email after email after email. Same thing goes with making a phone call. I mean, we need to reach out those people.
What? A phone?
Yeah, a phone call, and make sure that they remember who you are, hear your voice. I don't want to be that company that just goes around handing out donuts. There's no significance to that. I haven't personalized it. But when I do those other things, and a personal note, people talk about it, how many people actually do it? I'll write a personal note after I see somebody, after I've gotten a referral from them. Do the things that people will remember that other people aren't doing. That's the key.
And you've also, in a conversation leading up to this, when we were talking off camera, you had mentioned there are a few books out there as well, in addition to yours, that talk about this idea of breaking through the noise and the chatter to really capture people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, you have to grow yourself, and if to get out of the box that you're currently in and the way that you're doing business, you have to read, you have to watch videos, you have to educate yourself. And so some of those, like a good book is platform. I mean, how do you get your message out there, stand up that platform so people will hear you? Same thing, we use 22touch.com. That's a relationship building activity, tells me who I need to reach out to and how to touch them. Personalized notes, drop-bys, phone calls, emails. I mean, that is simple. You can't get any simpler than that, and it works.
And the premise behind that is you need 22 touch points over the course of a certain amount of time in order to have a repeat customer.
Correct, 22 times a year. So you're basically almost every 2 weeks you're reaching out that individual. But you're not dropping by their office every 2 weeks. You're doing something, and really you're not dropping by till the 8th week.
It's strategic.
It is.
Okay, and everything you're talking about is really strategy to keep the customers coming back for more and guarantee name recognition. Folks want to find you online, buy the book?
Yeah, BrandonJWright.com. You can buy the book there.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon Wright, author of Redesign. Experience the freedom to build your business your way. Thanks for being with us today. And coming up next on the show, a few more low-cost advertising ideas to help attract customers. You're watching Business at its Best, presented by Ataraxis. Welcome back to Business at its Best. This is 30 minutes of television showing you ways Idaho companies are working to be better. Whether it's Rexburg, Jerome, or Caldwell, each company is working hard to attract and keep customers. Our focus today, advertising. Getting a message to the right people is essential to help your business grow. Marketing and advertising sows the seeds of familiarity, which keeps your business in the minds of those potential customers. To achieve this top-of-mind awareness, repetition of your message from a variety of media sources is key. There's still some ways to bypass the high-cost advertising by leveraging some things you already do every day. Dr. Marilyn Melchoirre, we call her Dr. Mel. She's an assistant professor at of business at College of Idaho. Thanks so much for being with us today, Dr. Mel.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off. We've had some great ideas so far in the show. We're talking about paradigm shifts in the way we think about advertising and approach it, especially for these small businesses that are just having a tough time day after day, and they think, I don't have $100,000 to pour into an advertising campaign. I don't have $10,000 to pour into an advertising campaign. So what are some of the everyday activities that can really help with advertising?
Right, and that's it. Look at things you're doing every day, and one of those is going to be your business envelope. And it's going to go out, if you're mailing those out, you can do more than just the return address. You have all this additional space that you can put some type of message or promote a special sale or something coming up. So utilize the space that you have. Also, if you're mailing something out, maybe it's an insert that goes in. You're, again, running a special sales promotion that you want to encourage people to come into the store. So utilize what's already going out.
It's just taking a moment to step back and look at what would otherwise be a missed opportunity.
Right. There are additional opportunities you can take advantage of with an activity you already have in place. And
which is low cost.
Low cost.
Absolutely low
and
cost.
So kind of on that, we know word of mouth advertising is one of the best and low cost ways that you can get your name out there. So everyone has business cards. But don't forget, there are two sides to a business card. Always print something on that second side. It is also a way you could run a contest if you have a variety of salespeople, put different sales promotions on the back of different cards, send each individual out with it, see who has the most returned. So you can do that.
And running tests is important. That's what I find myself doing more and more as we work to get the BBB name out. Is I'm just running tests. I'll run a short, low-cost test. We had business cards printed up, specific business cards printed up, two-sided, just to get them out there. And we're just constantly testing new things. And those are one of the things you do to look for new opportunities.
Yeah, the idea is you're going to run through that box of business cards pretty quickly and analyze the results. When you have an activity, the key is look back, see how was received by your customer.
So you need to have a measure in place.
A measure in place to actually do that.
Now, Brandon mentioned this idea of moving billboards, his van, and you got some other ideas as well.
Right, the moving billboard. If you're in your car, there's ways that you can, obviously you can paint on it, but you could also get a magnet. Some sign places do a magnet that can be large, and that way it could be removed if you wanted. But it is a moving billboard. Also, you noticed Brandon had his logo on his shirt. Have employees wear logoed items or ball caps that have logos, because wherever they go, they are promoting your business.
Name recognition.
Some
other tips for us?
Yeah, and just to follow up again on some of the promotional items, know what your customer demographic is. What would appeal to them, male or female, what the age is. Brandon mentioned the refrigerator magnet. Those are very popular. I had great success one time with a leather coaster. People kept them in their house. They would keep them on their desk. It was not very expensive. Another one that's nice, everyone uses those memory sticks.
Okay.
And it will last. So think fun and function, something that's going to stay around for a while.
Fun and function. Dr. Marilyn Melchoirre, College of Idaho. Thanks so much for being with us today. And you know, BBB has a number of resources to help people find the best companies in Idaho. Just check us out online, bbb.org. And coming up next, why every customer leaving the door is really your company's best advertisement. You're watching Business at its Best, presented by Ataraxis. Better Business Bureau's chief storyteller Rob Hicken took the Better Business Bureau camera to the School of Hairstyling at Pocatello for a conversation with Linda Mottishaw about advertising.
Our profession is probably one that will never be outsourced anywhere. It is school, but it is on-the-job school kind of thing. You're learning while you're doing type of thing. We average 3 classes a year, and there's usually about 20 per class. Within this industry, there's not a small town anywhere that doesn't have somebody that they need to cut hair or to do hair. We have students that are from Blackfoot and from Arco and from Aberdeen and from American Falls and Soda Springs and Aramo and McCammon and Rockland and of course Pocatello and Shelley and Firth and Rigby and, you know, kind of all the way around. Many of them that are from those small outlying communities are finding that there's really kind of a little gold mine sitting there, because these are their friends and neighbors, and this is really small town. And so we see them at church or clubs or school activities or that sort of stuff, and so it's easy to develop a clientele in some of those smaller outlying areas because they know who they are and they trust them. I mean, it's their friends, it's their neighbors. Many of them, it's an ideal situation to be able to go to work in the town that they're at. If they like you, they're going to tell their friends that they like you. Your best advertising always walks right out the door.
Best advertising walks out the door. Great words of wisdom to leave you with today. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next time for more Business at its Best.